Oh, hey. Feel free to sit next to me. So, what's your name? My name's Rocky. It's nice to meet you. You new around here? I haven't seen you before. You're pretty new around here? Yeah? I get that. How you liking the place? I'm guessing you moved in. That makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a lot to adjust to, being a bigger city and for how many people are around, it takes a little bit to get used to. But you'll get used to it pretty quick. I didn't move in here not that long ago either. I would say about a year ago. That's when I moved into the city, and I was in the same shoes as you. It took me a good little bit to get used to. But it's nice to meet you. So, how did you find out about this whole place? You're just kind of walking around the city. I gotcha. Yeah, it's a nice little bar. Not really much happens, but it's kind of the peace in it. You know what I mean? Just kind of sitting down, chilling out, not having to worry about all kinds of crazy things happening, I know all sorts of other bars, there's people doing loud karaoke or kind of going crazy, partying full on, or bar fights or things like that. But here there's not really much happening, which honestly I prefer that. It's kind of nice to have that sometimes, the peace of mind. But anyways, what made you want to move down here? Job opportunities? Nice. I get that. It's good. It's good that you're taking steps like that, taking initiative. It's important to do things like that, and I hope the best for you. For a lot of people, it's hard to kind of find something, but as long as you keep trying, that's all that matters in my eyes, I know a lot of people, I don't know if you feel the same way, but a lot of people will kind of see people as lazy if they don't get a certain job or opportunity or things like that. But I feel like that's such a negative way to view people. It's not fair. Some of these people try so hard to get opportunities and start a new life or whatever. It all takes time. So I totally get that. But keep going at what you're doing. You'll do great. Just don't give up on it, I feel like dream is a strong word, but whatever your goals are, don't give up on those. Continue to try, and if you don't really know what those goals or those, in quotation, dreams are, it all takes time. Just take a path and see where it leads, Like what I always tell people, life will work its wonders. Sorry if you haven't noticed already, I'm quite the rambler. So, you won't hurt my feelings if you tell me to be quiet. You won't hurt my feelings, I promise. So, what are your hobbies? That's one question I always like to ask new people. That's cool. You're the first I've ever heard say that you like the hobby. It's cool to see people with unique hobbies, Just the differences in people I've always liked. It's always really interesting to find out the differences. Whether it's what we find an interest in, what we find important, what we value. All these things are different, And I feel like that's what makes us unique. And I hate, I struggle with this too, but I hate when people say, like, I just wish I was normal. I don't know if you've heard someone say that before. I don't mean to, I'm not really making it deep, but I don't mean to kind of make it deep real quickly like that. But, who wants to be normal? You know what I mean? Normal is so boring. Everybody has their own specific thing. That makes it interesting. If you're normal, what do you have to show? You know? Being normal is boring. But, what can I say? I'm far from, I guess, in quotations, normal. But embrace those differences, you know? Be happy with who you are. I get it. It's a really hard thing to do. But, I mean, you know, some of these people, well, most of the time, you're at the bar, not only just to sit down and drink, but, you know, a lot of people drink away something, you know. I hate to say it, but it's true. But, it's just about living our life and being ourselves, you know. Hopefully you're doing alright, though. And I know you just met me, and you don't know me, but, you know, I'm the least judgmental person you'll ever meet, so if you want to talk about something, by all means, please do. I appreciate that. So, what are you here for? The bar, that is. Or, is there anything on your mind? You want to just get off your chest or anything like that? I understand. It's a hard situation. It's definitely not easy. Things like that are never easy. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of willpower to get through that. I understand. You know, again, like what I said, it's different for everyone, but we're all human at the end of the day, you know? Especially in times like these, you see everywhere, you know? You feel like people are living such a perfect life. It's not true. Everybody has their issues. It's so, people strive to be so unhuman that we forget we are human. Which I feel like that's the most important part, is to remember that we all are human. We all have emotions. We all have ways of thinking. We all have things that bother us and things we struggle with, and everybody struggles with something differently. One person might not understand it, but the other one will. You know, it's about having an open mind, but it's important to remember those things. Just to be there for humans in general. Because, you know, our feelings can differ. And again, like what I said, you may not understand it, but it bothers that person as much as maybe what our problems are, you know? So I get you. It's never easy. So, I know you're at the bar, so I just like to kind of a random question to ask for fun. What's your favorite thing that you usually get to drink? Cool. Nice. Gotcha. Yeah. For me, I tend to drink some sort of like whiskey and Coke. That's usually what I do. Nothing too crazy. I like to try out sorts of different types of whiskeys. I'm still trying to figure out what I like, but you know, I mix it with usually Coke or Dr. Pepper's my favorite. Specifically the Dr. Pepper and strawberries and cream. It's a really good mixer. But, you know, make sure to do all this with responsibility, of course. You want to take care of everybody. It's important. But, yeah, this is a nice little place. You know, it's a good place to wind down, let's say on the weekends after your work or whatever you might be doing. It's a nice little place to wind down at. And you seem like a cool guy, so, cool guy or girl. So, you'll get along with the people around here well. I wouldn't worry about that too much. You know, you're talking to me right now, and you're pretty cool, so I wouldn't worry about not being able to make friends or getting to know people around here in this city. You'll be just fine. I was worried about that so much too, you know? I went into something, when I first got into the city, I went into it kind of being scared of everyone, you know? I didn't really know how to talk to people, how to get myself out there. I was scared I was going to be too far judged, or I was going to look like a freak. It's not like that. Once you get yourself involved in some things, you know, whether it's your hobbies, your activities, you know, get yourself involved in stuff like that. There's all sorts of groups for things like that, activities, things to do around the city, whatever it might be. There's so many things that can help you with that. And just joining those and getting yourself involved and kind of doing just being you know. It'll lead a lot further away than you expect. You know, one of my biggest mistakes for a while was I didn't meet anyone for I would say a year and a half, just because, you know, I was too focused on not being myself, because I felt like being myself was a weakness. It's very untrue. The moment I started being myself is the moment I started actually meeting people. Started talking to people. And it works, you know. Remember to be yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's all people ask for, you know. And you yourself are beautiful as is. You know, why try to be someone else? Why try to fake to be something that you're not? Kind of worded that terribly, but you know what I mean. So I kind of stuttered right there. I didn't really know how to word it. I somewhat have a stuttering problem. Ignore that. Sorry about that, but yeah. You know, just always remember to be yourself. That's all people want. And no one wants to talk to a fake someone. No one. It's not fun. You know, if you're faking yourself, why would I want to talk? Why would I want to talk to you, you know? I'm talking to you because I want to get to know about you, about your personal, you know, beliefs, values, your personality. Not someone that's faking on the outside, so remember that your own personal self is beautiful. And don't ever think that you're not. Because that beauty comes from the differences we hold. So, don't ever feel like you're not. And definitely don't feel like you're not worth being here. You're just as worth as everyone else around you. I get that it's easy to compare yourself. Because you'll say, oh, this person's doing so much more than me, or this, that, blah, 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 blah. Trust me. I understand. I do it all the time. But it's important not to do that. Because there's so many qualities that you have that many people don't have. And that main quality is the person you are. No one will ever be able to replicate that. Remember that, you know. I don't know if you had to hear that or not, but I felt like you wanted to hear that. But I might be wrong. If you're just like, I need this, or I don't need to know this, whatever, you know. Fair enough. But I just like to tell people this advice, you know. Especially newer people that move into this city or area. You know, I'm kind of an advice giver. I've always have been, especially the newer people that I haven't seen around here before. So, you know, but I appreciate you listening to me. I appreciate you sitting around here too, and you know, you're always welcome around here. And if you ever see me again, ever need anything, you know, I'm always here for you. You know, whether it's just you need to talk about something, get something off your chest, anything like that, you know. Gotcha. I'm always here to listen. And I'll never judge, because I have no reason to judge. But yeah. And what was your name again? it's nice to meet you. Sorry, I'm much better with faces than I am names, so it might take me a while to remember your name, but trust me, I'll remember you when I see you. But it's nice to meet you. Yeah, I should probably start heading out now. It's getting a little late, so yeah. Ken, it was really nice meeting you. And if you ever see me and ever want anything or want to talk about something, I'm here for you, alright? Remember to be yourself, okay? You as yourself is the most beautiful thing anyone can ask for. Alright. Well, it was nice to meet you. And have a good day, alright? Or good night. You said it's kind of late, so yeah, have a good night, alright? Alright, take care.